it's Julie Lawrence again from TeacherJulieOnline.com, and today's video is more of a story. I want to tell a story about my experience with Outschool and what I have learned in the past 4 weeks regarding Outschool pay. So when I started with Outschool, I was hearing all of these amazing things about how much money people were making on the Outschool platform. And of course, that sounds intriguing because, as you know, I've been with VIPKid for over 3 years and my pay has not changed in that whole time. And yes, I was able to add some short notice classes at VIPKid and do some things that got me a few incentives throughout the past 3 years. But honestly, VIPKid is at a stagnant pay for me, and so I knew that it wasn't going to go up. So if it's all about pay, and if we're just comparing apples to apples in this situation, then of course Outschool looked like such a great opportunity. So here's my story. I have been teaching with Outschool since the end of May. It is the middle to end of June. It is June 24th today, and I started teaching about May 20th. And so I've been going for about 5 weeks on Outschool, and I started with one class, and then I added another class, and I just kept adding classes and adding classes and adding classes because I sort of got addicted to it in a way, and I've heard some other people say the same thing, but I just began to try to get all of the ideas that were in my head out onto paper. And so, I mean, I wasn't sleeping at night because I was thinking about Outschool courses. I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me, but it just became like this opportunity for me to work and work and work to make all these classes. And of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic in my state, in my city still, and so there's really not much else to do. So I've been home and I've been creating classes. And that is what my life has consisted of for the past 5 weeks. Teaching and creating. And then teaching and then creating. And yes, the money is really good, but the work is a lot. And I think that I hear about how great the money is, and I hear how, oh, you can open up a class and you can have 10 students, you can have 12 students, you can have 18 students, and they're all giving you $10 for just this 30 to 45-minute class, and so you're making all this money. But I think what I didn't hear from everybody was just how much work it was. Now, I'm not complaining about that because I've actually really enjoyed doing it for the most part. But it has been a lot of work. As of today, so I finished 2 classes already today, and then I have 3 more this afternoon. So 5 has been the most that I have taught in a day so far, and for me that's a lot because I'm still also trying to take care of my children and, feed them lunch and dinner and things like that. And so I can't spend all of my day teaching just yet. But I feel like in those pockets of time that I'm not teaching lately, I have been creating classes and working on lessons and finding resources and creating my own resources because there's a big issue with not using anything that's copywritten, which I agree with, but it just makes more work if you want specific content and you don't want to use a copywritten source, then you have to create it yourself. So this is all taking me a long time, and I'm working late into the night, and then I am waking up and teaching VIPKid, and then I'm continuing to teach more Outschool classes. So at this point, I have 13 classes in my teaching library that I have out there. They're not all listed right now, but they are for further down in the summer and even into the fall, and I just had 2 more classes approved yesterday. So my experience lately, and I know this is not the norm for everyone, but my experience lately has been really good, fast turnaround on my approvals. One class I submitted for approval and I heard back that it was approved within 2 hours. And I hate to even say that out in public because I know that's not the experience with everybody, but it was a lower grade class on counting money, and there's a lot of counting money classes out there, honestly, and so it probably wasn't hard to approve. But that one came back really quickly. I haven't taught that one yet, so we'll see how it goes if that one even turns out to be one that parents want or not. I actually formed that class because I had a parent who has been booking me for some of my other math classes reach out to me and say that her child was struggling with counting money. Did I have anything like that? I guess I'll write one. I mean, that's the point that I'm at right now, and I know I can't continue to do that. I can't just write classes for every parent that wants one. But I thought I could probably do one on counting coins. I have some strategies and ideas on that, so I'll go ahead and write a class for counting coins. Here we go, another class. And the other one that I had approved last night was my first flex class, and I had heard nightmares about getting flex classes approved, and it came back approved in the first time, so I was really proud of myself. And how I chose to make this flex class was I took my most popular live class that I have and I turned it into a flex class. And I think other people do that as well. They find that they're having a section that books up and fills, and so why not offer it as a flex class for those who can't find a time that works for them? So I took my telling time class that I have broken up into, 4 different live classes and made it into a 4-week flex class. We'll see how that does. I don't know. It's listed out there. I'm still actually putting all the pieces of that together. That, my friends, takes a lot of work to make a flex class because I'm having to record videos and I'm having to get activities that students can work on, and I'm having to get tasks that they can do throughout the week to make sure that it's interactive. And so that does take a lot of planning and writing and putting together up front. But I feel okay. I've got the first half of that done, so I'm going to continue making the rest of my flex class. And then I have everything else is just one-time classes, and then I just had an ongoing class approved. This will be my first ongoing class, and that will start in the fall. So I just listed that one. And so I feel like when I break it down, when I look at my money and my pay, it's great. And it's making my husband very happy. And so he has been very willing to say, sure, go keep working. Yes, bring in that money. But it's not just coming easy. It's not. And I feel like some people do say that. They do add that part about the Outschool pay. But when I was starting out, I feel like what I heard was, you can make a lot of money with Outschool. Period. And they were saying, yes, it takes a lot of work up front. I did hear that from many people. So I don't think people are trying to be shady about this, and that is not the point of this video. I'm not trying to, throw anybody under the bus or anything like that. I'm just saying, in my experience, I don't feel like I really heard a lot about just how much work it is. And again, Julia's experience only. This may not be your experience. Maybe your type of classes that you teach or other people's types of classes don't require as much effort. No, that sounds bad. I don't mean effort, but I mean upfront planning and preparation. Maybe it doesn't take as much as what I'm doing. Or maybe I'm just putting too much work into it. I don't know. Again, I'm still trying to figure it all out. But if I look at my pay and it's really good, and I look at my hours and they're really a lot, then my hourly pay is not so good. My hourly teaching pay is hovering right around $60, $70, something like that, which is really, really good. Now, I'm not teaching yet that many hours. Where the hours are coming in is all the unpaid time that I'm putting in to prepare these classes. So when you are first getting started on Outschool, I feel like it's very, very possible to get really deep into it really fast. And I think that's a good thing, and I think that's super exciting because the kids are coming and the kids are wanting to take these classes, and the ideas are flowing, and people have such great ideas for classes, and there's so many awesome things out there. And so I think it's really easy to just want to create, and list. And I think some people can even look at their schedule and see, I have an open spot right here, I'm going to put another class in there. But I think it's really important, especially at the beginning, to not get too burned out. But I do enjoy it. It's really challenging, and I'm having to stretch myself because I'm having to create my own things. but it's also a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's like being back in the classroom in a way. When I was in the classroom, I worked really hard and I worked really late nights and I just did the very best that I could. I tried to do the very best that I could for my students, and I think I'm putting that into this too, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. It was just coming from teaching ESL, coming from teaching VIPKid for 3 years, which is online teaching, right? It's nowhere near the same. Nowhere. And I can look back and at the beginning of my VIPKid days, and I was putting some preparation into those classes because I had no idea how to teach them. I had never done it before. I was gathering props and I was gathering supplies and I was writing down what each class was, and I was doing all those things in the beginning. But I didn't have to write my own lessons. I didn't have to create my own content. I didn't have to go looking around the internet for things to help me teach this or help me teach that. It was all given to me to teach. So I just read the lesson and I grabbed my props and I taught. And it was pretty easy. And then the more you teach in these ESL companies, the more the pattern repeats, the more you get used to it, and the preparation time really becomes nothing. So, I wake up and teach my VIPKid classes, and that's it. I wake up and I don't do anything. I just turn on my computer and get my coffee and teach. But for Outschool, it's not like that. So there are a lot of videos out there, mine included, that are comparing VIPKid and Outschool, and they are comparable in some ways, because you use a computer, maybe, and because you use a video and there's children. And that's about where it ends. Not really, but they are just so different. I just wanted to kind of put my story out there for anybody that's at the beginning of this, that just be careful that you don't overdo it at the beginning in the pursuit to make all that money. And so remember, it's not always all about the money. It's creating a good product, it's having good quality content, and it's making your customers happy. So just because you're putting a lot out there and getting a lot of customers doesn't mean you're the best teacher if you're not in the best shape to teach that class. If you've been up all night creating lessons, or if your voice doesn't work because you've been teaching all day long, or whatever the situation may be, just try to balance it. I'm speaking to myself at this point. Just try to balance it with regular life and with everything else going on. So I am heading into a no creating time period. I am going to focus on the classes that I have out there, the classes that are listed. I'm going to focus on teaching them to the best of my ability. And I'm not going to worry so much about creating another class and creating another class and creating another class. I am keeping an ongoing list of classes that I do want to create in the future, and I will admit it's hard to not just keep creating classes because it is fun and I do enjoy doing it. But for me, I'm going to focus on the ones I have out there, teach to the very best that I can, and then reevaluate maybe a month or two down the road and really look at, have I made these classes that I already have I made them the very best that I can make them? Am I giving the very best of myself to these students who are paying cash money for this content? They're paying it for you to teach it and for you to teach it well. And so quality over quantity, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The bottom line is, I don't want you to hear me say that it is not worth it. I don't want you to hear me say that Outschool is bad in any way or not for you in any way. I'm just saying that for me, it has been a lot of work. And for me, the money is really good, but the hours spent doing it are not so good. And I know that it will get better. I'm hoping it will get better. But just try to balance. Try to just give the best you that you can give. I've heard some people ask how I organize, or how, not just me, but how you in general organize your schedule, because you've got all these emails coming from all these different parents and learners and Outschool and this class and this class, and there's a message from this class, and how do you keep it all straight? And I've got a new learner enrolled in this one, and I've got a learner that has withdrawn from this one. So how do you keep it all straight? How do you make sure that you're getting paid what you think you should be getting paid, like your records, keeping your records straight? There's also been a lot of admin to this that I didn't realize, like a lot of administration to keep track of my pay. I want to make sure that I'm getting exactly what I'm supposed to be getting. I want to make sure that I'm scheduling my classes when I have open time in my regular life and not double booking myself and things like that. Yesterday I was 3 minutes late for a class because I thought it started on the hour and it really started 10 minutes before the hour. So it's things like that that you want to keep yourself organized. So I do have a system in place that works pretty well, and I plan on sharing that in a future video. But for now, I'm going to stop talking and babbling. So let me know if you're a new Outschool teacher, how are you doing? Do you get caught in the cycle of just wanting to create, list, teach? Or do you have a better balance and you have something figured out? I'd love for you to share what is working for you and maybe others. We can all learn from each other. Thank you for watching. Happy teaching. Goodbye, everyone.